company dealing with races, genders, people with disabilities, things like that. Affirmative action in hiring is when race, ethnicity, and disabilities, and military background, socioeconomic status, and or gender are considered when hiring decisions are made. However, we believe in an equal playing field. We believe that qualification, rather, like how well you do your job, should get you in, and that's what we are.
Also, affirmative action in the workplace is reverse discrimination at its finest, honestly, because these people that have fought so hard for the rights of women, minorities, have fought to get these rights that are equal to whites or any kind of person who would apply to get in the workplace. They're trying to equal the playing field when they try to get these rights for years and years. But now they're being given a leg up. So is that equal? Are they being treated equally? No. So what they fought for all these years is actually just going to waste. They're just giving a leg up and saying, oh, hey, because you're a minority or because you're a woman, you are automatically put into this position. And that shouldn't happen. People should be put on there based on their qualifications and based on their ability to do the job.
I'm going to argue about the way there's something profoundly wrong with the way we make sense of success. How are you going to say, like there's two pilots, one crashes, one he becomes better, and he overlooks the other one? Like, that doesn't make sense. He had to work his way up to become the best pilot when there's one person who's been the best pilot. So then you get the position right away, and while he continues to work his way up there, that's my question, my statement.
People given a position purely because of affirmative action are not sometimes qualified, and the idea that all people of that race must be, per se, not meaning to offend, but stupid, is perpetuated. It prepurposes that all people of the same skin color or socioeconomic class are from that lower class and therefore need help. This also reinforces stereotypes and even embeds them permanently into the system. So I believe that it's the effects of the affirmative actions within the job place sometimes affect the outlook on that certain class or that certain gender or something, because there's something prepared and brought into that, then it affects them in the overall idea.
So pretty much what you're saying is that affirmative action in the workplace pretty much just gives like minorities a leg up. Well, what's going on is that there's still racism in the workplace, and affirmative action helps these people get a job, because otherwise, like, they wouldn't get them because they're a woman, because they're going to get pregnant and have to leave for a certain amount of time, or because they have family ties, or something that is going to hold them back to this job. That is why they do not get the job. There was a study that showed African Americans who had like I don't know how to say this politely, but like a ghetto name, like, and they applied for a job, they wouldn't get the job just because of their name. But when they changed it to an alias, they got the job. So affirmative actions help these people that are discriminated against get the job that they're well qualified for and deserve.
Exactly. They're not going on, CEOs of the company are not going on the street saying, hey, are you a woman? Okay, well, let's go work for Google. That's not what affirmative action is doing, and they're not just going to hire any old individual. They look at the qualifications and the merit of the student. We're not neglecting student, just kidding, adult. They're not neglecting meritocracy at all. This is their company. They want their company to thrive, right? They're not going to have someone saying, oh, you just graduated high school and that's it? Well, come on to work for our best company that's leading America right now. No, they want to have their company succeed as well as employ diversity at the same time. African Americans are unemployed at a 6% higher than white Americans, and Hispanics are unemployed 3.5% higher than the white Americans. Our unemployment rates are lower than ours with race. There's no way that it's cynical to think that we are in a pro-racial society. You cannot say, oh, everything's fine, we're all equal, let's live, we're all diverse here, right? Not necessarily, because it depends on everything about the company. It needs to have diversity within the company, and it's not just about the race.
Yeah, y'all were saying that diversity is growing in America. Yes, that's true, but to be able to have diversity in jobs, which is important, you have to have diversity in jobs to be able to have their weaks and their strengths and weaknesses balanced within everybody. And then also, only 4% of women make up the amount of CEOs, and that's because of what Leo was saying, oh, so then the woman has all these responsibilities at home, so she can't have a job. We have that mindset that the man is the one who's supposed to make all the money, and then the woman who's supposed to be home. And then also, it's proven that African American women earn 63 cents compared to $1 for men. White women make 57 cents compared to $1 to men, and Latino women make 55 cents compared to $1 to men. So how do you say that's fair, and that affirmative action should
Your argument, 3.5 minutes. Go for it.
Okay, so racism in today's society still exists, it's just not as openly present. In today's workforce, the unemployment rate for disabled people is at 13.4%, while a non-disabled person is at 7.9%. Women virtually at every job earn 77 cents less than males do, and black men earn 74.5% of what men make. If racism didn't exist, these numbers would not be so drastic, and affirmative action helps create a diverse environment to represent the increasingly diverse and multicultural America. It also gives jobs to minorities who are well qualified but are often looked over due to race, gender, or disabilities. And eliminating affirmative action in the workforce would only further entrench racial discrimination and hold back our progress as a country.
And as you were saying earlier, and previously round one, which could also be applied here, would be the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. That guarantees to any person, not just minorities, equal protection of the laws, aka there's no government interventions. Employers, this all based off of the employer's decision of equal protection from discrimination. However, you cannot neglect the fact that there is still going to be discrimination in the workforce. That is why women, there's been many times that we've seen little excerpts of little clips or something of women, how women should dress in the workplace, because if not, she gets a little whistle, a little tap here, a little that, just something that degrades her character as a woman of society, or an intellectual woman or intelligent woman. That's something that's degrading her, because men are supposedly the people who run America. They're just so proud and egotistical that they cannot even fathom the fact of having a woman over them. And even in our class discussion, we've also said, Mr. Reed also posed a question saying, would you marry someone who makes more than you? The majority of the men in this class raised their hand, but you have to admit to the fact, little deep inside them, they had a little battle going on with their pride saying, oh, a girl. It's always a question about a woman actually fulfilling her duty and taking that truckload with her and being in the company of a CEO, just being forceful with the company and actually creating a successful company.
Also, for staying on the women topic of being minorities, men, they dominate the accounting, finance field, comedy, and tech, and chefs, emergency services, law enforcement, sports media, math, politics, and construction, and engineering. They're all dominant in those fields. So obviously we do need affirmative action so we can balance those fields, so we can have more women in those, because they are qualified. For even ethnicities, they are qualified for those types of jobs. And without affirmative action, that wouldn't be able to take place, because people are racist and they wouldn't hire them because of who they are, what they look like, or being a woman or a male, or being Mexican or African American. They wouldn't hire them because of that. And there's been so many cases where women or an African American or just a minority gets paid less than a white male. And that happens so many times, or even like the Shale Sanders case where she was getting offered less than what she really even deserved. And so her husband would say, you should fight for more money. I mean, she only makes up that 4% of women as CEOs, which is barely anything.
Women comprise about 46% of the total workforce, and minorities comprise about 21%. And that does not fully utilize the diverse factors that we're trying to deal with here. If a company is a company, it's a global company, they're trying to create that global diversity. You wouldn't have a company or a CEO that is just filled with something of one particular race. They have no background knowledge about anything. They can say, oh, I read in the newspaper about what happened to this black man, so maybe we can use that when we talk about this to this one company, and maybe they can get like some kind of moral, ethical appeal if we know what they're talking about. They kind of think that we know. No, if you actually have diversity in the workforce, you won't have to fake it till you make it. It'll be easy. You would just say, okay, well, we're going with a company here that's predominantly black, African American. We're gonna need you to step up, John, so you can help us bring that company into our law firm or something, whatever, depending on what it is. So, if it's building a globally diverse board, you have to incorporate some kind of diverse demographics, some background knowledge, because you don't know. I mean, you can just act like you know, but it's not certain unless you have that person of that certain race there.
1 minute break, rebuttal, 1 minute break, and then reform 2. Nice job.